Hello everybody, I'm Robert Tusardi, the creator of Blockchain Kingdoms. We turn video gaming into passive income and paid work. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the general marketplace. NFTs is going to be a focus of this conversation. What is happening in the NFT and blockchain market space right now? It's crazy. If you were paying attention to the stock market, there was a bit of a mini crash. There's been talks of, is this a crash? Is this not a crash? What do you do? If you were like me, I'm kind of waking up today to, wow, so this is a very interesting day in the financial world, and I will help you sort through it and look at possible options that you may have. So later we will look at what are the best NFTs to buy right now. So I have this video, it's Mark Cuban. He is in a conversation with Jason from This Week in Startups. And Mark Cuban talks about NFTs and how he was creating his own NFTs and using his celebrity to make a profit.
Now I have my wallet, I have money in my wallet, I can go to Rarible.com, I can go to OpenSea, I can go to Mintable, I can go to Nifty Gallery, I can go to Super Rare, I can go wherever. And all, Top Shots, all these things that I'm into, I can collect.
It's so brilliant, this non-fungible token.
So what I thought was really interesting there is Mark talks about how he created these NFTs on sites like Mintable, and then he sold them, and then they were being resold for like $50,000 or more, and he was actually earning a return on that investment. So he's able to use his celebrity, but it was just really fascinating to hear Mark Cuban, a billionaire, sports team owner here, just like totally be into this. He's always been on the front lines of technology, and now NFTs is like one of these things that he's majorly into. So guys, like, I think NFTs are just becoming hugely legitimate right now in terms of an investment and what you can do with them. So my company, Blockchain Kingdoms, we do have NFTs that we are selling. These are actually right now just artwork, but you can transform them into NFTs on Ethereum blockchain. Our goal is that you will be able to earn passive income units on our platform and trade those for cash and crypto. Also trade the cards for cash and crypto in 2022. This is a pre-launch sale. Our platform is not available yet. It will launch in 2022. I will talk more about the status of these because I think we could be doing more to sell these. Right now we are sold out of batch 1. There are only 4 cards left in batch 2, and if you were to buy the 4 cards in batch 2, which I've now put into a bundle, you will get an 8% income bonus because these cards are all matching card types, which is Cyberpunk card type, and all matching faction, which is the Neon Memories faction. So by collecting all 4 of these together, you get an 8% income bundle, and that is available in a bundle right now on the website. So are we in a market crash? What are the buying opportunities? First off, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research and make your own decisions. So man, if you're looking at Ethereum right now, Ethereum is down 16% for the day. When I woke up this morning, it was around about 1550. I think it's gone as low as about into the 1300s here. 1395 is what CoinGecko is saying was the bottom. I'm sure it might have gone just a little bit below that if you were to look at the actual candles. That's super interesting. For the last 30 days, it's up over 18%. And if you were watching the price just a couple of days ago, we were up in the just past $2,000 on the weekend. So that was super exciting to see for Ethereum. And again, like, I don't know where you might be right now about where the market's at. If you might be freaking out, like, oh my gosh, all the markets are crashing. I think this is just kind of what happens. I think everyone kept talking about how we might be in a bubble. All the prices in the stock market as well as crypto was going up and up and up. And so it was kind of predictable that something like this might happen, which is why I liked putting a lot of my assets into the NFTs, because I could really see the NFTs resisting, price drops as well as use case crypto. I'm actually surprised to see Ethereum drop as much as it has, and I think that's actually just goes to show how much speculative investing was put into Ethereum, because it's almost like a 25% drop from the weekend compared to use case. If you actually go to look at the Gala Gala's actually been doing much better than a lot of the other cryptos right now, and I think part of that is because of a strong use case, and a lot of people are holding Gala right now, are already set on a long-term hold for Gala. So I think a lot of people holding Gala are really there waiting for that explosion to happen over the next year or so. There's probably more speculative investments in, say, something called Ethereum. So that is my point of view on that. I actually did buy some Matic over the weekend as well, and that's down just over 10% from when I bought it. And but I just want to go over these actual gains. If we look at these actual gains for the year, especially something like Matic is in the last 30 days is up 283%. Gala, which you've been watching my channel, I've been talking about Gala Games and their Gala, that is still up over 1,200% in the last 30 days. So we're down, 15, right now 4.3%. So we've gone down a bit since, since the weekend and since our all-time high, which was back over here earlier this February. It hit up to about 0.026. But still, I think we're really looking good when it comes to crypto. So what's my story so far is, so I happened to luck into the $1,000 that I had into the Gala crypto, and went up to 600%, and I ended up buying 2 nodes, which you buy or you purchase the license to support Gala Games, and Gala Games gives you in exchange a distribution of its Gala every day. Yesterday I got about 4,000 Gala for my 3 nodes, and 2 referrals that I have for those nodes. Yes, I only have 2 referrals so far, but that's totally cool. So, but man, I've just been watching the NFT marketplace, and it's been crazy. It's been nuts. I've had friends who've made a lot of profits. I've been watching the value of the Mirandus NFTs from Gala Games go up and up and up. My company has actually had about $1,500 in sales over the last week. We also had some more investors come on board for our company, and getting us closer to our goal so we can start our app development. So it's all been really crazy. And what I want to do first is let's just look at, whether or not we're in a crash. Is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? And I think it's really important to look at why people invest in the first place, because I've been watching videos of people talking about this and how numerically we are in a bubble. It's like, yes, we've been in a bubble, so now we're seeing a pullback. It's not surprising. I've seen other people say, well, we might be like in an ABC pullback, so now we pulled back, we might pull back some more. So this is so much information. There's so much information right now around all of the around everything. So I think it's kind of good to go back to basics. Okay, so what are the basics? The basics are, why do people invest? If we just kind of remove ourselves from what's happening in the current marketplace and seeing kind of what happened this morning, which is bam, huge drop, and then everyone's like, oh, well, that's got to be the bottom, so let's buy more, buy an opportunity, bam, goes back up, and then now it's kind of doing a thing depending on the stock and the valuation, and just looking at all these numbers can be a headache. So why do people invest in the first place? So number one obvious reason is return on investment, right? People invest for a return on what they've invested, and so they want to get more money for their money. So a couple of things here is, the more money you have, the more leverage you have in the markets. If you're someone who's trying to pay off your bills or pay off your rent every day, using what money you might have in the markets, it's really dangerous. And it's also why the people with more money have more leverage. So you might be someone who's very wealthy, and that gives you a lot of leverage in the marketplace. You might be someone who's just trying to make it day to day, month to month, and trying to hope that you can make some money in the markets. And seeing the market come down like this would actually be really bad for you if you have all your money in the markets and you're hoping that it's going to pay your next couple of bills, but then it goes down 30%. That's really rough for you. And if you are that person, I'm sorry, there's not much I can do, but hopefully in this video I can help you protect against the future and look at other possible options that you might have. So ROI is really the number one. The second one is a hedge against inflation. So, as more money is created out in the world, the value the value of the dollar is actually lower against, say, assets like houses and things like that. Assets actually, increase in value. So, which is why people like to invest in the stock market, is because they can put their money into something that's actually going to most likely go up with inflation and give them that ROI. If you just hold cash, meanwhile, the price of everything is going up, food, houses, rent. If everything's going up, but you've kept all your cash in cash, well, then you're not able to ride the wave of essentially economic and financial growth. You miss out on that. So you do want to keep some of your money in investments, but then of course when there's a crash like this, it's actually really good for someone who already has money on the side. Essentially, some people call it, having dry powder. It means that you can go bam, pop like black powder into this and let my money, blow up and make gains. So if you've been someone who's sitting on some cash, I had some cash on the sidelines, and also I was also mostly invested in NFT assets at the time, and I think that's actually really protected my money from a crash like this, and that gave me an opportunity to buy some more Ethereum. And all of my digital assets are still seem to be intact, and I'll talk more about that later. So people also invest as a hedge against inflation. So the number 3 reason is to protect your assets like your cash, long-term investing. So if you have a lot of money, or you have money, you're growing money, and you want to grow your wealth, with long-term investing, you can put your money into assets. And you can sometimes set it and forget it and walk away. It all depends on what you've invested in, as long as it's something that you think is going to grow in the long term, or you've diversified your assets. If you're someone who can just put your money into some assets and walk away from it, that can be really great. A story I have is I bought some Neo stock last year, and I kind of just wasn't looking at the market for a period of a couple of months. I was focused on the business and raising for the business. I just really wasn't paying attention to the stock market. And over the course of 3 or 4 months, that Neo stock went up 100%. So suddenly I had doubled my money from what I had in that Neo stock. Inside that period of time, and it was really nice, but I just forgot about it. I wasn't watching it every day. It's just one day I went back and I was like, okay, I haven't really looked at Neo for the last couple of months. Where's it at? Oh, it's about doubled in value. And so sometimes there's a saying that time in the market is sometimes better than trying to time the market. What that means is, if you're someone who's constantly looking at the market and you're trying to figure out when to buy, when to trade, which is actually a lot of what I discuss on here, but it also is because we're in a whole new emerging space with lots of growth happening in NFTs. But if you're someone who bought Ethereum last year and you just forgot about it, you made a decent amount on your long-term investment. So that is the third reason, is to just protect your assets, grow your assets, and have that long-term investing. And number 4 is that maybe you believe in a company and you invest in a company for a cause, or invest in assets for a cause. And people who have invested in Tesla, some of them might have really believed in Tesla and green energy and being less reliant on fossil fuels for many reasons, not just environmental, but also because of wars we had to, essentially, the United States had to hold a footing, the Middle East, and a lot of that was economic. It was, hey, we have to protect our oil interests out here. So so that causes all kinds of complications and problems. So how does this help you in terms of what we're looking at in a marketplace that's up and down? I think it just means that if you have the space to breathe financially, just don't get too tied up about it. If you are invested in assets that you believe in the long term, rest a little bit easier. You can hold what you're holding, sure, trade if you want to into one asset into another. But if you're someone who has money to invest I just think it's best not to lie awake when these things are happening. And it's also, and I sometimes look at actually money as a game, especially investing as a game. Like you can try this out, see if this risk reward works out, but I think it's really not worth losing sleep over. And earlier this year, and I was really like playing in the market, and I was watching it like a hawk, and man, I suffered a lot of stress from that. I was just like, what's going to happen with this? Like, I need to know, and the more I was able to let go of that, the better. And so now I'm kind of looking at the markets go up and down. I'm like, oh, okay, well. And the other thing is it's all a learning process. If you're like me, I'm still learning. I feel like I've learned a lot in the last year when it comes to crypto, when it comes to investing. And if you feel like maybe you're getting burned because of because you're losing as you're learning how to invest, my advice is, that's just part of the game. Sometimes you have to lose in order to learn how to make the best investments, what the best plays are, where to keep your investments. And even I'm learning now, especially with NFTs and how this space is blowing up, I'm learning how, new ways to play these investments. So I'm talking about all of this right here. Why do people invest? Because no matter where you're at, I hope that you have the luxury to kind of just take a step back, not worry too much about it. And because I think all this stuff is going to bounce back. In the long term, it always bounces back. If you are someone who doesn't have a whole lot of money and you are trying to pay your next bills or rent based off of what you're investing, then in that case, I would say be very, very careful. And especially in this kind of marketplace where you just see these sharp declines like that, it could be really risky for you. So, my best advice would be don't invest everything that you have into the stock market if you're really struggling to make ends meet. Instead, maybe just put the money that you might buy in a coffee every day, like $5 a day or something, into your investments. But don't take your full $1,000 or whatever it is that you might need for rent and then throw it into the marketplace. That's a very bad idea. If you have the luxury of waiting for things to bounce back and you're at a loss for something right now, all you have to do is wait. Kind of like with the Neo stock, you just have to just kind of wait, unless it's something you don't believe in and it's too speculative for you. In that case, you might want to get out of it. Might be my advice. But if there's something you believe in, I have my investments in Gala Games and I believe in what they're doing. And I put some money into Matic and Polygon because they are a side chain, and essentially they're kind of a hedge against gas fees that we're seeing with Ethereum. And there's also flares coming up. I'm learning a lot about Flare, and you can invest, I think, in the tokens at the moment. But I'm starting to learn that the Flare network will be something, and thanks to all the people in my chat, like Visualize, they've been helping me understand what's happening to the Flare network. And what it seems like it is Flare is essentially going to try to create like an umbrella of side chains so that gas fees are extremely minimalized and everything kind of comes under one umbrella of transactions. I think it seems like a really ambitious goal, and I really like the sound of it. It kind of reminds me of the seeds that Blockchain Kingdoms has for its job system. We're not network based, we're more asset based. What I've been noticing is that the value of a bunch of these Mirandus items are actually holding up pretty well. If you go into the Discord for Gala Games, they have essentially an OpenSea transaction channel, and I love watching this channel. I love seeing kind of like what things are going for, and you can see they also have some Townstar items, but as the market was crashing this morning, people were still buying these Hamlets. This sold for 2.5 F, and people are still listing. That's a really expensive farming Hamlet right there. But people are still buying some of these items, like these the weapon shops, an archery, storehouses, and bakeries. So when I look at it, it really seems to me like these prices are holding up. And there's not a lot of volume, honestly, to really gauge that by. But if I just go on to, OpenSea and we had a sell of another homestead on a couple of days ago at 0.328. So it seems like other people seem to think that these are actually kind of currently overpriced at the current value. Again, the market will kind of determine the value of these. There are 1,000 of these homesteads for Mirandus. If you look at these farming hamlets in particular, there's 200 total of them. There were quite a few sales of these over the weekend at about just around 2F. And if you just go by listings, the only ones that are actually listed right now are in the $7,000 or more. I mean, that might be really pricey. Yeah, $7,000. You know, again, the market determines the marketplace, but the last sales were at 2. So you can see, you know, this person, you know, is trying to double from there, or this listing might have been made a while ago. But I think that's expensive, but other people may not. The good thing about something like a farming hamlet is that you don't have to pay any kind of fees once you buy the hamlet. It's your hamlet. You can place it down there, and then you can, you know, you can farm essentially grain and stuff like that from the farming hamlet. It has buildings. You can rent these things out, and so. I'm not going to go too much into the detail of the farming hamlets. I do want to make another video later where I speculate on just about all of the buildings. But I think just what we're looking in the last couple of days, this particular farming hamlet has shown a lot of really you know, great price resistance. And we'll have to see how that continues to go. So yeah, I would say watch the NFTs and see if they're a good hedge against currencies. There was a lot of price action with NFTs over last week, almost made my head spin and explode. And I want to look at what are the best NFTs to buy right now. Sometimes actually just like the newest and best NFTs are the best to buy. Street Fighter had a bunch of cards come out recently, and I had some friends tell me that they were buying those and they had just like leapt up in value tremendously in just a couple of days. And I think some of them were burnable. I think you could get them on wax.io. And so I think sometimes you can find an NFT that's kind of like the newest and the best thing. That's what you might want to get. So the second one is, you know, my personal favorite is Gala Games, Mirandus, Gala Nodes. You know, Gala Nodes, essentially, you purchase them to support Gala Games and the games that they're creating, and they pay you out their crypto. I've been making anywhere between like $50 to $80 a day on worth of crypto from them, and I purchased my nodes when they were about $3,300. Now they are around $5,500, and you have to watch the website because it updates every hour, and sometimes the price might seem a little high and it might seem a little low depending on the value of the crypto that you're purchasing with. But you know, I love those Mirandus items. I love what they're doing to that game. It is really my kind of thing. So out of all the ones, it is my personal preference. I think those are really some of the best NFTs to buy at the moment. Axie Infinity, it's kind of like a Pokemon, kind of create your own Axie NFTs. They're having land sales now, and so that's pretty huge. Splinterlands is number 3 on this list. Oh, I had 2 number 3s. My mistake. They actually give the gamers the ability to mint cards, which is very similar to like the forges and things that Mirandus has and what they're doing in Axie Infinity. You can, you know, kind of create and mint your own Axies. Like this stuff is really exciting to me, and why all these things are on the top of my list are the things that allow you to really mint more NFTs, right? I think that's really where a lot of the value is going to come from. So the Sandbox is also kind of like a pixel Minecraft kind of world. You can build your own worlds. This one's a little bit lower on my list because I'm just not quite as much into it. However, I know people who are really into it and love it. They've been selling land for a while. I don't think the value of the Sandbox assets has really blown up as much as, like, say, Mirandus or even Axie Infinity. So I think it really, the Sandbox might be more niche at the moment. However, I think in the future, the sandbox niche could actually get bigger and bigger as more people discover it. The number 6 is Enjin. I mean, I've heard of Enjin for a while. I bring it up now because more and more people are talking to me about Enjin inside of my own chat, and I see it more on Discord, and I've never really been into what they've been doing, honestly. One of the reasons that I invented my technology, the virtual supply chain and passive income cards and things, is because I really didn't like necessarily what I was seeing from some other blockchain companies. So it's like, well, you know what? I know how to turn video gaming into passive income and paid work, so I'm going to do that, and I'll create my own, my own system inside of blockchain gaming. So Enjin, I'm still a little confused about some of their games and really how they're providing value, but they've been around for a while now, and they've been working hard. So hopefully that works out for everybody who's invested in Enjin. Maybe you might want to go look it up. I was just trying to find what games are really hot for them right now, and I still wasn't quite sure how to find that in a short term. So it's more to look into later. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about our NFTs, our passive income cards for Blockchain Kingdoms. So here's our website, Blockchain Kingdoms, and so the whole goal of Blockchain Kingdoms, our focus goal, is to allow you to play any video game you want, and that is essentially partnered with us. And you can earn money from playing that video game in cash or cryptocurrency. What we do is very different from what anybody else is doing in the space. I mean, I've looked and I cannot find anyone who's doing what we're doing. And so, and as I've talked to video game developers, I've noticed there's been a lot of reluctance to them to get involved with us because we're super, super small. We only have, like, at best, a prototype of our first game. So what I've decided to do is we're building our own first-party game, and we're going to show people how our system actually works. So this is a video of our first-party game, and it's a prototype. You go, you kill these bosses, and you compete against another team of 5 players using magical abilities and all that cool stuff. You can build buildings similar to Fortnite, and you grab the football, and you keep it from the other team, and you go to this altar, and you score. And so that's our first party game. And again, this is very early prototype footage that I'm showing you here. And but I think it's going to be fast-paced, extremely fun, high replayable value. And the reason we're making this game as our first party game first is because it'll show people that they can come and they can replay this game, and they can earn crypto for playing the game. You might be, well, like, how's that possible? Well, it's very simple. Essentially, I looked at, we want to monetize video gamers playing. So we take your time and your performance and we monetize that into a commodity that is in demand by job creators. So essentially, job creators will buy these tokens, and they'll essentially lend you these job tokens. You play the video game, and then you earn the cryptocurrency, and you get a split of the pie with the job creators and the game developers. So it's an extremely smart system, guys. Like, it's really, really intelligent. And I have another video called a deep dive where we go really deep into it. So this is really the focus of my company. And while we were growing, I was like, well, we need to generate more income because we need at the very least $50,000 to get started in earnest on development of our platform. So I created our passive income cards, which is another revenue stream for us. And the passive income cards, essentially, our goal is to allow you to earn our units of PIU, our passive income units, and you can upgrade your cards to the passive income units, and you can trade the passive income units on our platform that is coming in 2022. So the platform's not out yet; it is a work in progress. Again, we're using these cells to finance the creation of our platforms. And there are 4 types of passive income units, and they match our different card types. So we have 4 different card types that you can collect, and you will also be able to earn 4 different card types. So you can collect cyberpunk units, and that will make it easier for you to upgrade your cyberpunk cards, like these guys. And we have factions that are released every week, and so you're like, hey, Robert, so I want to buy some of these passive income cards. Like, what's the best thing to do? Well, what you want to do is you want to go and you want to find the earliest batch of cards that is available. In this case, it's batch 2. We have our cyberpunk cards, Neon Memories faction. These 4 cards were released in the same week, and you want to buy as many of the same faction and card type. So basically, if you were to buy all 4 of these cards, it would give an 8% income bonus for getting, it's basically plus 1% per a matching card type and plus 1% per a matching faction type. And since you have 4 of these here, that's an 8%. If you only had 1 card, then you don't actually get any income bonus. But if you bought 2 cards, that would be of the same faction. Like, let's say if you were to buy these 2 cards right here, they're both of the same faction and card type, so that is a 4% bonus income for having each of these cards. If you were to buy this whole set, which is, I'm surprised she's still around, Akara Sugimoto's. I really like this card set. If you were to buy this whole set, that would be a plus 10% income bonus for these particular cards. So yeah, these are the passive income cards. We have mostly been selling these from our pre-existing audience who found us through our Facebook ads. And I'm realizing that we're actually having trouble finding a new audience for these cards. So I'm looking at possibly putting these on another website like Flow. We have started to use OpenSea.io, but I don't like OpenSea.io just for these particular things because we release them in batches. There are factions. We want to really put them on a platform that allows us to put them into these collections like batch 7 and batch 6. And I'm really kind of having trouble finding a good place that actually separates these into collections like this. I like Shopify, and this is put on Shopify because we can actually collect them into these spaces and we can tag them. I'm finding a lot of these things like OpenSea.io just does not allow you to really tag things very easily, because if you're someone who wants to buy another Bermuda Nebula card, I think it can be kind of difficult right now on OpenSea.io to find one. So when we finally launch on something like Flow Marketplace or a Flare Marketplace or Wax.io, whatever we decide on, hopefully it will be easier for people to purchase these and we'll see more liquidity. Even if you want to buy one of these, even putting it on the Ethereum blockchain is only an option. So by default, they don't go on to the blockchain by default. You have to select this buying option, and then we will turn it into an NFT and send that to your wallet so you can trade it. It's not ideal, but part of the reason that we do that is because the gas prices have been so high, and many of the people who have been purchasing, they've told me that they want to hold these passive income cards for the long term, which is great because that's what I would do too. But we also want to give people an option who might want to have short-term liquidity. So we're looking for solutions to that. Last but not least, GalaCon is happening this weekend. There's going to be the Gala team members who are at Gala Games. They're going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons game. And Sunday morning is apparently when that Mirandus gameplay trailer is going to come out. I'm super excited for that. I'm going to have a reaction video. If you'd like to support Blockchain Kingdoms, you can go to shop.blockchainkingdoms.com. You can buy a couple of our passive income cards. And these will earn you passive income units that are goals that you can trade for cash and crypto in our coming platform. The sooner we get our financing, the sooner that we get to release this platform to the world. So thank you so much. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.